hundreds of Facebook ads every day that I analyze. Rookie mistake, I'm so sorry, very innocent sounding, but they're actually super, super harmful. 90% of tools are a waste of time and you don't really need them. These things work, you just have to be done correctly. Not being scared by it, embracing it will really make a difference. The mistake is focusing on the what more than the who. The mistake is the what is usually about what you do. That's a mistake. The basic way that every lawyer talks. I'm an estate planning lawyer who does this and look at my achievements and look at blah, 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 blah. Instead, you want to flip the language about who do you help and what's the pain points that your clients have and what's the light at the end of the tunnel without talking about what you do, the middle part. Okay. So you're completely flipping what your mind wants to do. And I'm exposed to hundreds of Facebook ads every day that I analyze, and 80-90% of it is in that framework. And I'm like, rookie mistake, I'm so sorry. You're probably going to be running these ads for the next couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, and you're just not going to go anywhere. And then you're going to stop it. And then you're going to blame, oh, Facebook ads didn't work for me. No, these things work. You just have to be done correctly. But if you focus more on the who, more than the what, then you'll see your conversion rates will shoot up.
Also suggest that I think it's a great focus point here, but not just for your marketing and your advertising. I think this is also true about your staffing, because a lot of times when we go to scale up our staff, we're thinking about what are they going to be doing. And I think when you think about it, who's going to be doing what is the more important question. Okay. And so when you look for staffing opportunities, I've always felt that you find the person first and then you'll match them to what needs to be done. That's always been my focus.
Number 9 is not embracing technology and having limiting beliefs about tech and automation. And Neil is already shaking his head. Neil.
I think that's being an old techie myself. I see this all the time, and it's never been a better time to embrace technology and leverage technology to improve the efficiency of your law firm and ultimately in the long run, the profitability of it. Always astounded by folks who say, I'm too old, or it's not something I can devote my time to learning about. You got to find some way to stay abreast with what's going on, because Sam's a perfect example of somebody who's right on top of things. And if thousands and thousands of people, not quite as good as Sam, but who are also doing a hard look at technology, and if you don't at least try and keep pace with them, you're just going to fall dreadfully behind. I'm guilty of that myself to some degree when it came to AI. I was a little slow, as I've said in previous episodes, a little slow to embrace where AI was going. And now, as we'll see a little later on, as we talk about this, how it's just going to be everything we do. And the real challenge is to know what to focus on, what technology to focus on. Don't go chasing every shiny object. You have to be a little selective. And then once you decide what it is, or as we've said in previous episodes, you really have to take a deep dive and get to know everything that technology, that application can do for you and leverage it.
And it's those self-sabotaging words that you mentioned. I'm too old for this. I'm not technical enough. These young wizards and all this putting yourself down, they're innocent sounding, but they're actually super, super harmful. I cannot express how significant they are to your psyche and to your result, ultimately to your result, what those little innocent sounding words do to you. So from now on, I want everybody to change that perspective. No, I am technical enough. Even if you got to fake it till you make it, you got to kind of say that to yourself. I am technical enough. I love this. This is going to be life-changing for me. And I'll figure it out, or I'll find somebody who can figure this out for me. Not being scared by it, embracing it will really make a difference.
There are some technologies, some platforms that I feel aren't user-friendly enough. For whatever reason, they lost sight of who the person is on the other side of the screen. You may find it may be that you're looking at the wrong tool. You're looking at the wrong platform, one that hasn't matured enough or given enough thought to the user experience. So that's why a guy like Sam in My Legal Academy can help guide you to those types of platforms and products that have already been vetted. Okay, so you don't have to spend time, waste time.
Yeah, because 90% of tools are a waste of time, and you don't really need them. And there are a lot of shiny objects out there. So yeah, that's the benefits of having a community where you can actually search for that to see if there's already been people who have talked about it. If not, post about it, see what people say. We've already tested and tried out most of these tools, so to save you a lot of those time, so you don't have to go down the rabbit hole. And number 10 is something that I feel very strong about is over networking. Of course, everybody's different. So some people are built to be extroverts. They love meeting people, be able to learn, be able to connect to people. But there is such a thing as over networking. Neil, if you have some things to share about this, my thoughts are there are some benefits to networking, but I think overdoing it too much is actually a hindrance.
Yeah. And when I first started down this path 8 years ago with the law entrepreneur, when we talked about marketing law firms, all anybody ever talked about was networking, relationship building and networking. And while that's absolutely important, I would say don't do it if you're not enjoying it. I talked to hundreds of attorneys that say, I'm going to go network. I'm going to go to this Chamber of Commerce event. Or going to go to Kiwanis or whatever, business association meeting. I just hate it. If you don't like it, you're not going to be good at it. You're not going to get anything out of it. It's going to be a complete and utter waste of your time. Now, if there's some group of people, like I work with a group called Cadre here in DC, although it's available on a larger scale now, then they've gone more virtual and spread out. I work with Cadre because I really enjoy their events and I really enjoy the people. But you can spend way too much time networking when you could be devoting that time to doing all these other things that we're talking about to grow your business.
Me and my wife have this line that we always say to each other: is like, no one is forcing you. A lot of people feel like they're forced.
Nobody's keeping score of what bar association meetings you go to. If you enjoy it, or if you aspire to lead a bar association, or that's important for you because you have other goals and ambitions that supports, then great. I'm not trying to talk you out of that at all. But don't think you have to fill up your day, every day of the week, with some networking event in order to grow your business. That's just really an inefficient way of doing it.
And I challenge people, if people post one post a day on their social media, sharing something of value, something that resonates with them personally and that they just put out to the world, that's probably a lot more effective than going to networking events. You have hundreds and thousands of friends on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, wherever. You share that consistently, you will see that'll be a lot more impactful and more significant to your practice than showing up, packing and showing up to a hotel for 3-4 days and grinding out.